Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is that time already. Again, it's my June wrap-up and my mid-year book tag. Okay, I feel like my openers need some work. I feel like I always struggle to remember what my videos are about. But this video I felt like was going to be too short if I only did my June wrap-up because I only read 4 books. That's my lowest month in over a year and a half. So it was just June, like summertime is just so busy and I'm just constantly doing things, and so June was a super busy month. It was my birthday month, so just lots of things. We're traveling between family. So yeah, hectic, crazy, all the things. So I just didn't have time to read, which is so sad. But I will be making time in July. That's my goal. So yeah, I read 4 books this month. I will start off with the first book I read, which is Heritage of Fire by K.P. Haven. It was an arc I got from the author. And unfortunately, it just did not work for me at all. I gave it 2.5 stars. And I read, this is part of a duet. I have all my tiny little books over here, by the way, on my bed. It's part of this duet. I forget what the duet is actually called. But I read this one in like January or February, and I gave it 4 stars. It was like a surprise for me, because it's mafia romance, but it's closed door, obviously. And this is the second one, and I thought I was gonna love it, which is why I asked to get the arc. I didn't think I was gonna read it, but then I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And so I did, and I did not like it. I had such a hard time, because basically it's about this girl named Luna, and she is part of the mafia, the Italian mob. And her dad is a terrible person, and he auctions her off basically for an arranged marriage to the Russian mob, which the Russian mob is in book 1. The head of the Russian mob is the main guy in this one, and then his second-hand man is the main guy in this one. And so they arrange marriage, they get married, and so she's 20 and he's like, I want to say 30 or something like that. It's a pretty big age gap, like 30. Oh, he's 33. So he's quite older than she is. And I had a problem with that. I don't mind age gap, but she's 20 years old. Like if she was 25 and he was 35, that's not a big deal to me, but she's 20. And so I didn't love that. And then there was a lot of language, like no F words or anything like that. But just so, like almost on every single page, there was like a swear word. In her point of view though, she doesn't curse, but he does in every single one of his chapters. And I just did not love that. It had a lot more cursing than the first book. And then it just, I don't know, he was just a really, not sexually minded, but kind of. He was just very attracted to his wife, and it was constant. I was like, is there anything else about you, any substance to your character besides being attracted to your wife? Like, it's not like he, liked her. I don't know. It was just really, I just didn't like it at all. And it wasn't violent like the first one. The first one wasn't very violent. There was just some torture in that one. This one didn't have any of that. But there is some violence. There's gun shootouts and all that. It's a mafia book, but I would not recommend it. I wouldn't to my audience. I thought I would give it a try, and I did finish it because it was an arc. I really hate not finishing arcs, because the author goes out of their way to send it to you for free. And so I gave it a try. I wouldn't recommend personally, but you can give it a try if you want a closed door mafia book. This one would be for you, but wouldn't recommend to my audience. The second book I read was Playing the Field by Grayson Long. I gave this 4 stars. I was on a tour booked with the Emilys again, and it was cute. There were some things that bothered me, but overall I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people haven't enjoyed this book, which is a bummer because I thought it was really good. But it's about this girl. I have to write all their names because if you've seen previous videos of mine, I forget the names because I read so many books. I'm like, I cannot keep them straight. So, Kate and Malcolm, they're both teachers at a high school, and they have to go to this camp together for their athletes. And because he's the football coach and she was the volleyball coach, and I think she's the athletic director now. And so they go to this camp together. They didn't book enough rooms. It's a sold out hotel, and so they have to stay in one bed together. Nothing bad happens, obviously. There's kissing only. And a couple of swear words. It's not like overwhelmingly cursing. No, it's just like a couple, and it was really easy to overlook. And no like explicit content, no explicit swear words or anything like that. Kate was a little bit insufferable. She was kind of hard because it's a best friends to lovers. So she's like, I can't fall in love with my best friend. And he's absolutely infatuated with her, which was so cute. His point of view was like really cute to read about. I had a hard time with her point of view just because she was so stupid and totally oblivious to his feelings for her. But there are some trigger warnings in this. He has PTSD from some tours in Iraq, I think. And so just be aware of that. And she has some parental abandonment issues as well. I thought it was really cute. It was like a fun... The high school kids were super cute. This is actually the second book to the Glendale series, but it's a standalone series. Like, you can read this without reading the first one, which is what I did. I did not read the first one. I think it's called Thinking Out Loud. I think is what the first one's called. And the people in that book, I'm pretty sure, are teachers as well, so they are also in this one. But a cute summer read. Like, they go to a camp for the summer, a couple weeks in the summer for the kids. And I thought it was cute. Then I read All Roads Lead to Rome by Sabrina Fidel. I gave this 2.5 stars. Bear with me. I thought it could have been such a good story. It's YA, so there's like 2 curse words, and no, there's just kisses, like very chaste kissing scenes. And I could not get into it. I'm much older now. I'm not old or by any means, but I'm 25 now. And it's just, this book just doesn't, YA contemporary romances do not resonate with me anymore. I can read YA fantasy, but contemporary romance, for some reason, I'm like, ugh, these kids are insufferable. But it was a beautiful setting in Rome, obviously. And this girl meets this celebrity kid, and they have to fake date to keep up appearances or whatever. And I don't know. There was zero chemistry between the 2 characters, because basically they have to fake date while he still has a girlfriend to like keep up appearances with his girlfriend, so that like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just really weird. It wasn't like he was cheating on his girlfriend or anything, because she was in on it. She wanted them to fake date to keep up with their relationship. I don't know. It was really strange. I was like, I'm not a fan of this at all. So I feel so bad, because I think it could have been a really cute book. I think the writing was just off, and in the book, I hate, this is like one of my biggest pet peeves with books, is when the author explains a conversation they had, or explains what they did, not like, you're not actually like with them when they are doing that occasion, or they're having this conversation, and that really bothers me. I'm like, I just missed everything. I want to see dialogue on page. I want to see them doing cute stuff together, but it was just like explained, and I didn't like that. So I gave it 2.5 stars. I really had to push through. I almost DNF'd, but it was an arc. I was like, I gotta finish it. So anyway, if you like contemporary YA romances, I would recommend it. If you're around 16, 17, I think you would probably enjoy it. It was just not for me at all. Okay, then I read Actually Yours by Belinda Mary, and I gave this one 3.5. It was not a great month for me. I gave this one 3.5. It's set in Australia, so this is like my first book, really, where like the people are foreign, and so I literally, in my review, said that these characters reminded me of Bluey, and all I could hear was like Bluey characters speaking in my brain when I was reading this. So that made it a little bit more entertaining. But basically the girl, I didn't even say the main names of All Roads Lead to Rome. Who cares? I didn't like the book anyway. Amelia and Jake are in this book, and she has a really hard time with love, and so she's like done with boys, and then all of her friends get together and say, hey, we're gonna have you date the alphabet, basically. So but with like a person's occupation, so it's not like their name, it's the occupation. So for A, I think I don't remember A. I think C, at least, was like a contractor or construction worker, and so like kind of that deal. And so she's going through the lineup. And yet there's a guy, Jake, who is extremely in love with her. He's a lawyer. And she actually dated his brother. And they're exes, and it ended really badly. And so it's kind of a forbidden romance thing where she's like, I can't date my ex-boyfriend's brother. And he's like, well, I can't date her because my brother dated her. And so it's just kind of that situation. And he's having a really hard time watching her date, but he's trying to be her friend. And it was cute. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't anything special. And, you know, and there's some cursing, not very much. And not like any explicit cursing. No explicit content, just kisses. You know the drill. Okay, so that was literally all the books I read. I feel like this video would be so short with just the books that I read, so I decided that I was going to do, for the very first time, I've never done anything like this, a book tag. I got this one from Oshina. She has a YouTube channel. I think it's called Oshina Gotta Read 'Em All. I'm pretty sure. She has an Instagram, Goodreads, all that thing. So I got these questions off of her YouTube, and had to write them down because, you know, my brain, I can't remember anything. But, first of all, I have some thoughts on my year. I feel like I haven't had a great reading year. I've only had 4 5-star reads, which I've read over 50 books, and I haven't loved all of them. And that's such a bummer for me. I'm like, man, I really would wish that I could get another freaking 5-star in here somewhere. But I haven't. I really haven't. So I feel like this second half of the year, I want to read books that I want to read. I feel like for the last couple of months, I've just been reading arcs because I've gotten so many, and I'm really adamant on getting them done before the release date. So I've just been reading arcs because I have no time to read anything else, which I think is making it really hard for me, which is why I'm not enjoying reading very much in the last couple of months. So there's that. But let's get into the questions now. So question number 1, best book you've read so far this year. And I actually have my little books over here so I can pick them out in the corner. My favorite book so far is The Summer of Yes. This was a 5-star read. I've been talking about it for months because I read it forever ago. It was an arc, and it comes out this month now. I think in the next week or 2. I don't remember the exact release date. I probably should look that up. But oh my gosh, I cannot even. I loved this book with all my heart. There was just so many things. It was emotional, but like not heartbreaking. And the characters had so much depth and growth, and it was just a sweet, beautiful romance. No cursing, kisses, that's all it is. And it was just, she's probably one of my number 1 recommended authors ever, because you know that all of her books will be just like this. Sweet and cute, and just, they make you feel so good. So yes, The Summer of Yes by Courtney Walsh, my favorite book so far this year. Probably, in my opinion. In my opinion, obviously. So the best sequel I have read so far, I literally have not read any series this year. I've read a lot of standalone series, but I don't consider those sequels, you know? So I've read one series this year, the Kinder Poison series, and the second book to that is The Cruelest Mercy, and I think that, honestly, it was a really good sequel. And there's a third book too. But literally last night, I looked at my Libby app online, and I had put on hold the second book to Powerless by Lauren Roberts, Reckless, and it came to my library, and I was one of the first people to get in line for it. So I already have a copy, and I checked it out, and I have it on my phone, and I'm ready to read it. And I'm anticipating it to be probably the best sequel of this year. So I would say probably it's going to be Reckless. But I'm so excited. There are like 500 people waiting in line for this book. So in just my library, which is crazy to me. So question number 3, a new release you still want to read. I want to read For the Record by Juliana Smith. It just came out like 2 weeks ago on the day after my birthday. And it's in the series, the Wells Family series. I read the third one, A Rock and a Hard Place. Loved it. I gave it 4.5 or 4 stars. 4.5. It was so cute. And I really wanted to read the fourth one, so I actually pre-ordered it. The second book I've ever pre-ordered in my whole life. And it's still not here. I emailed her because I was like, oh, it's been like a week and I haven't gotten it yet. So I emailed her and she said it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for me to get my own books and then shipping them out. So I was like, oh, dang. And so I have not got it yet. But that is probably a new release that I am still really, really wanting to read. So the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, I have 3 because obviously Reckless is number 1. 2 is Came the Closest by Cleopatra Margot. I have not read any of her books, but they've been recommended to me through my Instagram. And I'm like, oh yeah, totally. So she's a closed door author, I'm pretty sure. And I got Came the Closest as an ARC, and I just got it in my email today or yesterday, I don't remember, last night. And I'm really, really looking forward to reading that. Probably one of my highest anticipated books. And then Before We Were Us by Denise Hunter. This is another anticipated release for me. I think it comes out in like September, so it's like far down the road. And I have it as an ARC, so I have it with me on my iPad. So I'm really anticipating that one because the plot of that book sounds so good. I don't have it at the top of my brain right now, but it looks fantastic. Next question is the biggest surprise. I would say Bride of the Fae Prince by Anastasis Blythe. This was 5 stars. Yeah, 5 stars. This was a big surprise for me because I have not read a fantasy since like February. Like I just have been on a contemporary romance kick for a while. And so this, I just wanted this to like break that contemporary streak up. And I got it as an ARC and I read it in like 2 days, I think. And it's over 500 pages, so it's huge. And I loved it. Like I was so surprised because I'm like, I don't like the whole fairy, fae kind of stuff because it's like every single fantasy book is that, right? And so I was like anticipating not to give it 5 stars, but I did and I loved it. So this was definitely a really big surprise for me. And then I also The Quit List by Katie Bailey. I thought this was a big surprise. I gave it 4 stars because I read one of her first books she ever wrote. I think it's The Roommate Situation. I gave it 3 stars. I just did not vibe with her writing at all. I did not love it at all. And so this was a big surprise because I was like, oh, her writing has improved a ton. I didn't think I would love it. It was an ARC as well. Man, I've been reading a lot of ARCs lately. But big surprise because I didn't love the first book and this one was so cute. I really liked this one. Okay, so next question is my new favorite author. You probably already know Courtney Walsh. My husband got me one of her books for my birthday, The Lucky Charm. It's a hockey romance. I'm really anticipating that one too, to read that one. So I have an actual physical copy of one of her books, but when this comes out, I am going to purchase it because I loved it. And she's a great author. She's definitely one of my favorites because her writing is just really relatable. And she's really good at writing a romance, even when it's on like the back burner of the story. And then another favorite, honestly, like for real, probably Juliana Smith. Her stories are just so sweet and still have some depth. I don't necessarily like love her writing style. I don't hate it, but it's not one of those things that I'm like, wow, her writing is amazing. But it's still like, I don't know, I really vibe with her stories. And I think she's a great author and I'm really excited to read her next one. So probably she is also another new favorite author of mine. So I will probably have more favorite authors as the year goes by. So when we check in back in December, I will probably have more favorite authors on my list, which is always super fun to discover new authors. That's really fun for me. Okay, so now next question is the newest fictional crush. So I tend to not have crushes on fictional men because I have such a fantastic husband. And I'll probably have a picture right here of him because he's so cute. But for the sake of this book tag, I think all of the male characters from Nightweaver by R.M. Gray, I loved all of them. Like all the male characters that are in this. For example, Will, who is the main love interest, and then Captain Shade, and then Henry, who is the brother of Will. I didn't think I would enjoy him, but you'll see why. I think because I one of my favorite films, well, not one of my favorite films, but one that I enjoy rewatching is Pirates of the Caribbean. And this was like Pirates of the Caribbean in book form. So I'm just like imagining all those things happening in this, and like how epic of a love story Will and Elizabeth have in that, and how epic it kind of is in this one too. So because I used to be in love with Orlando Bloom when I was a kid. Obviously not anymore. But that's who, like, I kind of imagined, like, their type of love story and those two characters. And so I would say probably all the men in this one would be my fictional crushes, because gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, well, a book that made you cry. The Summer of Yes. I just really haven't read a ton of emotional books this year, or books that would make me emotional. But I did cry 3 times in this book. Not because it was like so heartbreaking to me, but just to see the growth of these characters and the love that they had for each other. It was emotional. It was emotional, and I really loved it. And so I did cry. I don't cry in books often, so to even answer this question is crazy to me. But yeah, that book put me through it, even though it wasn't a heartbreaking read, if that makes any kind of sense. Okay, so second to last question is the worst book you've read so far this year. I have one DNF, and that was probably the worst book that I read, is Destroy the Day by Bridget Kemmerer, which is the 3rd book to the Defy the Night series, I think is what the series is called. I DNF'd it at chapter 2. I was just not into it at all. And I know that's a really unpopular opinion, because a lot of Christian YouTubers enjoyed that series, and I didn't. And that was so weird. But I just don't like Bridget Kemmerer's writing, because I also read her Cursebreaker series. Didn't love that either, and it was really popular. So don't take my word for it. That was just my experience. And so yeah, I DNF'd that 3rd book, and I was like, you know what? I'm not even interested. I'm not even going to waste my time. But I'm really surprised that it's my only DNF this year. I really haven't had like a lot of books that I'm like, ugh, I'm really pushing through. There have been a couple. There have been a few. But they've been arcs that I'm like, I gotta push through this. So, last question is most beautiful book you've acquired. And I don't acquire books a lot. I'm not the type of girly to go out to Barnes & Noble and go on a book haul, because budget is tight. I'm kidding. Well, not really though. And so I only really get books during my birthday or Christmas, which is fine by me. Like, it's always exciting to get books during that time of year. And so I'm not one of those people that just like needs to go buy books all the time, you know? And I don't want to buy every book that I read. I want to read it first, and if I enjoy it, I would buy it. Like, for example, The Summer of Yes, I would buy this book, and I probably will eventually, but I'm like not on top of it, you know? Anyway, the most beautiful books, because I've acquired actually a lot more than I have in previous years of my life. And I've acquired a few. So the Witches of Eldaria series are some of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen. And I've talked about this in my last video. I don't know if you can see these. I'll put them by my head. But like they're some of the most beautiful. I don't know which one I like better. I think the Herb Witch Apprentice has a prettier cover. But you guys can vote. Which one do you think is prettier? Green or purple? But anyway, beautiful, beautiful. And the author illustrates her own covers and illustrations on the inside, which is so cool. That's like a dream. But yeah, these two are beautiful. Some of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen. And I'm lucky to have them on my shelf, because they were not cheap, and my husband spoiled me for my birthday. And then I acquired this advanced reader's copy, this ARC, just last week, and it is beautiful. Like, just like look at that. Like, that is so beautiful. And I'm really excited to read it. I haven't even read it yet. It doesn't even come out until October, but I thought I would just like give it a cameo, because it is so cute. Like, that is such a beautiful cover. It's really aesthetic. But yeah, another acquired book that I've gotten. Okay, well, I had finished my video, did my outro, all the things, and I realized that my card on my camera was full. So I had to delete some things, and now I have to redo my outro. The last thing I said was this book. Cool, okay. Now, I don't even know what I even said before. This is so frustrating. It's really nice to go back and look at all of my books throughout the year that I've read to do these mid-year tags. I've never done any... Wow, my phone's going off too. I love that. It's really good to think about all the books that I've read, answer these questions, and I thought it was a really cute idea. I'll probably do it again. Let me know if you guys liked this kind of video. I need ideas on what kind of videos to do because I feel like all I ever do is my wrap-ups, which are really enjoyable for me, and I hope that you like them, but I feel like I need to do more. So this was fun doing this book tag question thing. I feel like there are a lot of other videos that would be really fun, like showing you how to make my tiny little books, because, I mean, come on. I do the front cover, the spine, and the back, which is crazy, and you can actually read some of them sometimes, which is fun. So I can show you how I make those, or take you on a tour through my reading journal, which I'm really proud of because they look real good. It's like one of my biggest accomplishments, my reading journal, because I stay up to date on it. I've been really good at it, and it's so cool. Like, I love my reading journal, so let me know if you guys want to see something like that, or anything. Just let me know what kind of videos you guys like to see, and I will do it. Thank you so much for watching. I think that's all. I will see you next time.